Welcome, everybody. Today's episode will be a little different. Thanks for showing up, Victor. We're gonna do a little mock draft. I'm not gonna claim that this is gonna be anything close or that I done the proper amount of research to really put one out. But I enjoy them, so we're gonna have a little fun with it. We're going to so I'm gonna go through all the picks through PFF on their mock draft simulator, and then afterwards, I for all of the dynasty, like a lot of the dynasty style rookies, or the rookies that we've been drafting in best ball for the most part. I put a lot of them with possible landing spots, and gave some teams that I thought may be interested with them in them, uh, just to just to try to track that later and see if any of it makes sense or works. Thank you for showing up, Disbanded. I'll give people a few minutes to get here. I while I'm waiting, I'll go through a my very first team I drafted this year. I thought was worth a look at, just to kind of look at where the ADPs were and where they are now. Whenever it finally loads all of them, so I don't have any stacks in this draft, but I have crazy ADP value. We got Kyler Fields at 189, Kyler at 117, and Aaron Rodgers. I was wish casting the Devontae stack. Hey, what's going on? We will get to the mock draft in just a second. I figured I'd give people a few minutes to get in here before I start. Then Genty 21, Walker 69, Najee Harris pick 148. This is how high I was on Martinez for my very first one. I picked him 165. Rashad and then Tootin down here. Took Puka a little too high, but then Devontae, Tet, Pearsall, Bateman, Hunter, Pat Bryant, Andrews, Janu. But anyway, we will get to the topic of the day. I've already set this up. For those of you who do not know, this is Pro Football Focus. For I think it's $120 a year, but you have access to so this chart that I use all the time. Mostly what this is I just downloaded their CSV and reorganized some stuff and threw in and then added another column or two. Uh, and I would recommend for anybody who loves football, if you do not have a PFF subscription, it's kind of archaic maneuvering sometimes, but there's a lot of information there. Welcome, Das Brew Crew. All right, so we will go ahead and start this. The first few picks, I think, are pretty consensus. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on them. It's pretty much a lock that Cam Ward goes to the Titans with all their offseason moves and the recent presses and all that stuff. And then the Browns, almost definitely taking Travis Hunter. They are going to play him at wide receiver from what it looks like. Maybe they let him play corner too, but we know that the Browns have came out and said that they like him at wide receiver. So that's good for fantasy. The question is, what percentage of snaps will they have him playing, right? And then the Giants at 3 will take the only other blue chip player in the draft with Abdul Carter. This is pretty much unanimous for everyone right now. It's kind of hard to not use this. So we're just going to start there. And for those of you who tuned in late, I'm not going to say that I've done a ton of research on this. I put some work into it, but I might miss somebody, and it's all for fun for me. So uh, on the clock at 4, this is where things could get interesting. New England, I believe, will take. Some people believe that there's a chance he takes Tet. I do not think that that's going to happen. I think it's between the two offensive tackles, Armand Membu and Will Campbell. I believe it's going to be Will Campbell. Mimbu is a little bit more of a boom bust prospect, and I think the Patriots know they need somebody who definitely will work out in the NFL, and I think the floor for Campbell is higher, and he's not really got that much lower of a ceiling. So I believe they will take Will Campbell. On the clock at number 5, Jacksonville. I've seen Genty. Odds of New England trade down. The problem is they have to have somebody willing to trade up. And the only way that would happen is if, let's say, the Jags were interested in taking Genty and that came out, but the Raiders really wanted them. That would be about the only way to get enough that would be the only way they could get really enough points to move up to like a team for this pick, unless they're willing to take like pennies on the dollar. I don't think that this is going to happen. I think the Jaguars want to solidify this. No, we are going to do what everybody else is doing and just take Mason Graham to the Jaguars. I will have trades at some point. My first trade is actually something that I haven't seen anywhere else. So, like I said, I'm here to have fun. With them taking Trayvon Walker a couple years ago, and they also have Josh Hines Allen, Mason Graham fits perfectly in there, will help free them up, and that could make that defense a lot better very fast. With the 6th pick, I'm going to go the chalk here as well. I believe that Chip Kelly will want to run the ball, and he's going to want somebody who he knows can carry a workload, and that is Ashton Genty. They're like I could see them passing on him and taking Tet, but I do not believe that they will in the end do that, because I think Genty, like I love Hampton and I believe he's a clear tier 2 or clearly the second back, but I do believe that the gap between Genty and Hampton is much wider than from Tet and the number 2 wide receiver, even the number 4 wide receiver in this class. So I do believe that they will end up sticking here, taking Genty, and Chip Kelly will not get one of his Ohio State boys. Hey, thank you for showing up, Fantasy Dog. Yeah, I haven't been scouting tons and tons of these, so I don't know how original it is, but I do believe that it is a little unique. Welcome, Hartman and Nick. All right, at 7, this is where I think the draft could get interesting. The Jets have several different ways they could go. They have a lot of people believe they're going to go tight end here. That is very possible. I wrestled with Tyler Warren for a while. I think that Aaron Glenn coming over from the Lions, they're going to go ahead and secure this offensive line and just take Armand Membu. He's the only other clear tackle, clear, in my opinion, tackle prospect in this class. I do like Josh Simmons, but he is currently hurt as well. And I don't mind Ursery, but they're definitely not top 20 picks, in my opinion. A team may take Simmons out of need early, but we will see if that happens. Hey, Steph, thank you for stopping in. At 8, I'm gonna do something. Oh wow, that is unique, Howie. I've not seen anybody say that. So at 8, Man, the Panthers defense is just awful, right? Like it is atrocious. But you know what isn't going to fix that? One player here at pick 8. Bryce Young last year looked good at near the end of the season, and they don't have a number one wide receiver. So, Tet McMillan, they have been showing interest in. Uh, I believe that they just pulled the trigger here, and that's a little peek for later. I will go to this sheet. So right here's all the picks for the Panthers. They have 57, 74, 111, 114, 140, 146, 163, 230. They could just use all but one of those picks on defensive players, and they're going to get like 4 starters based on how their defense is. So I think what they're going to decide to do is to just take the best wide receiver that's not Travis Hunter, and that's what I think they will end up doing. Javon Walker is very interesting here. And I wrestled with Tyler Warren and the Jets, and I wrestled with Javon Walker in here. So, but this is what I've landed on. All right, we'll look at the chat real quick. Started as a true freshman, was high school running back. I have not. Like I said, you come in just a little late. I don't do a ton of research on the tackles, and years ago I used to. Now I kind of read up a little bit on them and look at projected capital. I'm just, like I said, I'm doing this mostly for fun and using team needs for the most part, but who knows if that happens. And welcome, Scott. So pick 9, we have the first trade, and this is the trade I said I believe is unique. I believe that the Miami Dolphins, I believe the Saints, if they stay here, they're going to take somebody who isn't worth this pick. So they're going to be looking to trade back, and they're not going to be looking for as much as anybody else. I think the Miami Dolphins love Kelvin Banks Jr. And I think that they're scared that if this is the board, if Mimbu is gone, that the Niners might take him. And I think the Dolphins moving up to 9 to secure a tackle, the last one that they really like, there's been a lot of connection with them. This is the trade, that one of the trades that I have, and I believe this is just a possibility. Do I think it's likely? Most likely not. But we're here for fun. I have pick 13, 98, and 116 for pick 9. That comes out to pretty close. We will force that trade. And then they will take Kelvin Banks Jr. All right. Hey, DJ Quill. Hey, thank you for showing up. Appreciate it. And then pick 10. I think if this is the way that it plays out, the Bears will try to, they will want to trade out. I don't think that this is exactly what they want. I think that if this is the exact way that the board goes, there is an outside chance that they go ahead and just pull the trigger and take Hampton. But I'm not going to have them do that. We're going to have Ben Johnson get his playmaker tight end, who is also the better blocker, with Tyler Warren. And like, Tyler Warren is also a gadget play guy. We know that Ben Johnson loves to scheme up fun stuff. This, to me, could be a lot of fun. So now the Niners are in that same situation. I think they just take, like, this board. I believe that if Banks or Mimbu is there, they'll absolutely just walk it right in with the their left tackle having all the injury issues lately. So we will go ahead and just take best player available here. They have had visits with Jade Barron. They have a need at corner, and I think they will just go ahead and pull the trigger here. And so after this pick at 9, I think there's going to be, if anybody wants to trade up, I don't think it's going to be expensive for them to trade up. But I don't think anybody will be willing to trade up into that area. Tet McMillan is gone. Ashton Genty is gone. This pick to me also came down to Jerry Jones taking the closest, a prospect that's fairly close to what Zeke was, in my opinion, coming out, in Omarion Hampton, or a wide receiver, Matthew Golden, who looked really good in the postseason of the NCAA tournament. I think that he just loves Matthew Golden. I said this as soon as the combine happened, that I felt like this was going to happen. I don't know I think it may be too high for him to go, but I don't think Jerry Jones cares what other people thinks either. So, and to be honest, he's drafted well, or the Cowboys have drafted well recently. And Matthew Golden fits in very good. Just had what Purdy trade? So I think that Matthew Golden fits into the Cowboys offense perfectly. I don't think he's Ladd, don't think that, but I do think he has aspects of his game that are similar to Ladd. He's really good at route running. He's very good. He can find holes in zones. And he's reasonably fast. Was he really as fast as the 40? I think it's pretty much guaranteed that he wasn't. And he also didn't run a second 40, which kind of makes it more obvious that he knew it was even BS. So, but even with all that, Matthew Golden to me looked like a solid prospect. At 13, I think this is the same pick that the Saints would have made if they were at pick 9. And I think they were ecstatic to get anything to move down. And I think the Saints, with all the Derek Carr stuff going on, they just take the quarterback that they like. I know there's not a whole lot of connections, but who knows how often they sent scouts to all the local, they're close to Jackson Dart, Jalen Milroe. Their local scouts probably seen a lot of the games live, right? So I think that the Saints here, they would probably be willing to trade back again, but they're probably happy to try to get a quarterback of the future, having an extra 3rd and a 4th round pick in their pocket from moving back a little bit. I think they just shoot their shot and they just take Jackson Dart for the first kind of shocker pick. Feels like more like a Daniel Jones pick, right? But who knows? Yeah, who knows? Oh, by the way, Vaporware, this is a tangent, by the way. Vaporware tried to use Grok to create that image that's up in the top left-hand corner. It's actually, I took and spliced it 2 different ways. What do you guys like that? Do you guys not like that? It's kind of like a prototype for what I want my logo to be. So just put it in the comments or in the chat now what you think of it. Is it in the right direction? Is it super cheesy? I mean, cheesy's fine with me, but let me know. Saints equal Dart because and there is that. That is the only connection, is the offense coordinator. I knew I'd heard it. I couldn't remember what it was, but I knew that they had a coaching staff thing. I listen to so much football talk, I get a lot of it mixed up. I do a poor job of writing all of it down. I ain't gonna lie. I've been getting better. So at 14, the Colts, glaring need at tight end. They just glaring need at tight end. I I totally understand that, Hartman. Like I can't really see, like, I don't know. I just assume, like, most of this is, I think the Saints are just going to do something wild. I just have this feeling they're going to do something wild. Uh, and we're having fun. So, oh, you can't see the logo in the top. No, it was on the thumbnail. My bad. Yeah, it's on the thumbnail. So you'll have to afterwards. Um, so what do the Colts draft? And Off the Schneid said this, and this is exactly where I was. I was between two players here. They want Rascore. So if they want Rascore, they need safety. They need edge. You have Emar Nick something. I can't pronounce it. What's his name? Eman Wari, and you have Shamar Stewart. Wrong button. But I believe that they just go and they take Shamar Stewart here. I think he's like pick 30. Yeah. They take one of the two Ras guys. They don't take tight end. I think, I can't remember the name. I drafted him a whole lot. Oh, Jelani Woods. With all of the stuff that happened with Jelani Woods last year and previous years, with some teams, I've heard some teams are questioning Colston Loveland's medical stuff. So I would expect the Colts to possibly be scared off by any medical issue going on with a tight end. Just totally me just speaking out of turn here. But I could see that being a thing. And we know they want a high RAS guy, and Shamar Stewart is one of the highest RAS guys to ever come out. Pick 15. If we go look at what this is actually what I have going on here, but they don't have a third, fifth, or sixth round pick. I believe they're going to trade out. And I believe that we're going to get the Cleveland Browns to trade up to pair Shador with Travis Hunter. I know this isn't a shock. Like, some people have this happening later, but with Jackson Dart going off the board at 13 in this draft, I think that they want to go up and get the guy. And I could see this exact trade happening and the pick being Milrow instead. I'm going to go ahead and pick. I'm going to end up taking Shador. So we're going to go with the 33rd pick, the 67th pick, and a round 2 pick next year. So one reason I think that this is possible is whenever the offseason started, the Browns actually were talking about how they don't think they're that far away. Their defense was still pretty good last year. They have an okay offensive line. With Travis Hunter coming in at wide receiver, Jerry Jeudy's not elite, but he's serviceable. You can get another wide receiver later, and Njoku's really good. Jerome Ford is fine, and there's so much running back depth in this class. Like, it's not unthinkable that the Browns could, if Shador was working, that they could massively improve this year. So I think this would be a really good trade for both teams. Falcons get a little bit of they get an extra second round pick. Maybe they move the extra second back for even more later picks, but they also pick up a pick for next year, which they could also use in trade later to make up for some of the capital they do not have. So we have the Browns trading up, taking Shedeur Sanders to get the Colorado connection back. Thank you for showing up, Wyatt. He says, I will be sad if Loveland isn't there at 22. We'll see what happens there. I will say this. I 100% believe if Loveland is there at pick 21, the Rams will trade up in front of the Chargers to take Colston Loveland. The Steelers do not have a second round pick, and I think they'll be looking to move back if at all possible. So if Loveland is here, I believe that Loveland will the Rams will move up to take Loveland. This is the trick for me and hopefully you as well. Index cards. Yeah, I have sticky notes that I've started messing around with. Yeah, I'm new to the party. We'll say that. Welcome, Anthony. And Fantasy Dog agrees. Howie here is before, he's just miles ahead of us. All right, so the way that this board's worked out, very, very little defense taken. Cardinals sitting here at pick 16, and a player who's had all kinds of top 10 buzz is still on the board. The Cardinals don't necessarily need, in their needs, it's not listed, but can you ever have too many pass rushers? Where is Edge? Is it just here? I have them taking Javon Walker here. Or Jalen Walker. He's got a ton of buzz lately. Hey, welcome, Tyler. For anybody who is not already, please subscribe and also like the video. But Jalen Walker, I believe if he's here, he's kind of somebody a lot of teams will have rated higher than this, quite a bit higher. I would consider this a fall. And I think Arizona would love to run this card in right here. Although there is a lot of Will Johnson. I could see Will Johnson going there as well. But if Jalen Walker's on the board, I don't think that they will pass that up. The Bengals need every single thing. They need defense, right? And they need defense badly. With the Trey Hendrickson stuff going on, I believe they will at least bring in an edge in the first, second, or third round. There's a whole bunch of good edges here. There. I didn't scroll down. Mike Green, Ezeraku, Micah Williams, all, I believe, are within... All three of these, I think, could be the pick. I think they would end up taking Michael Williams over Green and Donovan Ezeraku. Sometimes I'm ahead, and sometimes I'm far behind. Just follow your truth, and it's okay to be. Yeah, you definitely tried to get there. That's all I'm going to say. You tried to get there. I appreciate the effort. Seahawks absolutely need... I had a really hard time not pulling up a certain player here in Gray Zabel. I think Gray Zabel would fit the Seahawks perfectly, but I also think that they have 2 picks in, where is it? They have 50, 52, 82. Oh, here we go. Have 50, 52, 82, and 92. That's kind of the sweet spot for offensive line. So I think that here with Colston Loveland, somebody who they've been interested in, I think if he's on the board, they will just snag him here. And I am sorry to Wyatt. This did not happen. Sorry, guy. And then this pick right here, Bucks have an awesome roster right now. Not a whole lot of holes. The one thing that they do have is a very old starting middle linebacker in Levante David. I believe he should be a Hall of Famer. Why not draft the best middle linebacker in this class and just let him learn behind Levante David or with Levante David? And I could see Campbell phasing, like maybe they run a 4-3 or a 3-4 and he's also in the middle, like a little bit more. But I think if Jahad Campbell is here, yeah, they need offense, right? Like looking at their defense, their secondary was really good last year, believe it or not, like by PFF rankings at least. So we get here, Broncos on the clock. This pick comes between Omarion Hampton and Travion Henderson. I think that it's a shoe-in. It's Omarion Hampton. There is some argument that Travion will be a better back for Sean Payton's style. But I think Hampton's just the better back, and I think that they will also agree. So, time for another trade. There's a player on the board who's another defensive player who's on the board right now who's fallen a little bit. And Pittsburgh, as I mentioned earlier, doesn't have a second round, they do not have a second round pick. I think the Buffalo Bills will be willing to trade here, and that they will give it's a little bit over value, just a little bit, but you have to use what you have. Move up 9 spots. They have 2 seconds. Give up the later one. They move up. Draft a position of absolute need. Cornerback. If I can find cornerback here. Will Johnson. Lock it in. Bills fans should be very happy with Will Johnson. I think that this fit is very, very good. I really like this for the Bills. If Will Johnson makes it, and even up to like pick 18, I think that they're on the phone trying to trade up to make this happen. That's more of a need-based thing, in my opinion. I'm not sure how much smoke there is to this fire, but that is what I have. Then now we're to the Chargers. They need defensive line help, tight ends, wide receiver. Yeah, and we'll get to that for sure. Because I think the Steelers know, kind of like what I did with the Saints. I think the Steelers know that pick 21, they don't really want to take Jalen Milroe when their next pick is pick like 90 something. Their next pick would be 83. So with their next pick being 83, I don't think they really want to take a project quarterback here without getting extra. So anyway, we're on to the Chargers. What does Jim Harbaugh like? He likes offensive line, defensive line, dominating in the trenches. They could definitely take a wide receiver here if one was available. They would definitely be interested in Loveland or Warren if somehow either one of them fell. In this, they do not. And I think we go take the Michigan guy to the Michigan man, Kenneth Grant, help the interior of that defensive line. Let's create a monster. Let's dominate up front. I think that if, like, I'm not sure Kenneth Grant will also make it here. Like, I have a lot of offense at the top, and Kenneth Grant could go all the way. Like, there's a chance he could go all the way to, like, the Bears if the Bears like him. So this could be an awesome pick. And we got the Michigan pairing. So, and back-to-back Michigan players as well. Green Bay on the clock. They need edge, wide receiver, and corner. Well, the two top corners are gone. It's not too early for Trey Amos, but I do not believe that they will take Trey Amos here. I don't think that they're going to take Luther Burden or Egbuka, who both would be solid picks for him at this range. I think that, once again, the Green Bay Packers are going to act like round one wide receiver isn't a possibility. I think they go edge, and they take Donovan Ezeraku out of Boston College. I'm subscribed to Coach Peak Index. They say they're fine with Conklin and aren't looking for tight end additions. Yeah, I've seen that as well. I do think that I think they could be interested in one, but I don't think they're also going to take one super high. Hey, Vaporware, I don't know if you've seen on the thumbnail, but I spliced two of those images you made and made like a prototype image. It's like really bad quality because whenever I spliced it, it like lowered the quality for some reason. But I appreciate you doing that. That's awesome. If anybody likes it, Vaporware was the engineer. All right, so Minnesota also desperately wants to trade down. Problem is, I don't think the only thing I think could happen, and I think the Chiefs could be willing to trade up here to take Josh Simmons, but I don't think that that's going to happen. I think that that's a possibility. The Vikings will be looking to trade back. This is also a spot I believe that a team could jump up into this pick to take TreVeyon Henderson. I think any point after pick 23, I think a team is live to trade up to take TreVeyon Henderson. There's a little bit, I could definitely see Washington being interested in him. So a trade happening between 24 and 28 for TreVeyon would make sense to me. Anyway, I don't think that the Vikings end up getting any bites. They just take best player on the board. They take Malachi Starks, safety, Georgia. It's a value. He's probably, like, value-wise, he's one of the best picks on the board still. They probably don't feel as bad about not being able to get a trade partner because they got value in the draft. Welcome, Meat Gazer. Yeah, I think so. I think that they could easily address both of those positions later, depending on how the draft falls. Pick 25. Everything I've heard about the Texans is they are looking for offensive line. After all that came out, then they came out and said, we are just going to take best player available. Mike Green, I've seen him all over the board in all kinds of things. Um, I don't have a reason why he's falling. As I said, I'm doing this mostly for fun, just to kind of look back on it, see how bad I did, mostly, like, because it's always a good time. Uh, I don't have a good reason for Mike Green falling, just that, like, in the 2v2s, like the 2v2 with Kenneth Grant and Mike Green, I think Harbaugh's going to go there. The 2v2, like, with Michael Williams and Ezaraku, it's just kind of a coin flip. Um, most of those teams, the Bengals, I think, did visit with Mike Green. I could see them doing it. But I looked at like a bunch of the visits, and I know that doesn't mean everything. I don't believe, and maybe I'm just wrong, but I don't believe that the Packers visited with Mike Green, so that's why I went with Ezaraku. And yeah, for sure. I think that's pretty unanimous. It's pretty optimal that that will be what happens. So I think, anyway, back to the Texans. I think they end up taking Josh Simmons here. Uh, they have a reasonably decent offensive line. They could probably afford to have somebody who's injured to start the season, like, and to come on late. They're a good enough team that as long as he comes on late, like, he will improve that team. So I personally like Josh Simmons there. I think that this is a very good pick. The other option I think that they could do is a wide receiver like Igbuka, but I think they're definitely going to go towards like, if Josh Simmons wasn't hurt, he would probably be a top. He would almost definitely be a top 20 pick. Correct. Like, so I think that they just go ahead, bite the bullet, and play right here. All right, Rams. They couldn't trade up to get their tight end. The three best tackles are gone. There's not really a linebacker that I know of in this area. And cornerback, there is a player I like them to take at corner. I think that they will take Trey Amos out of Mississippi. Corner is definitely their biggest need on defense. Their offense is old, but still solid. Like, I don't think it's like a rush to get a tight end for them. And I don't really think it's a rush for them for anything. And the position that will help their team the most to get to a Super Bowl, I believe, would be a corner that is successful. So I have them taking Trey Amos. Nobody gets it right, but it's cool to try to figure out, especially when you're as informed as I appreciate you saying that, but there are definitely more informed people than me. I just love doing it. All right. As somebody just asked, Dark Side, who always takes falling values? The Ravens and the Eagles, right? Walter Nolan, I believe there's a whole bunch of character stuff on him. I honestly didn't look into what it was. I just heard that and kind of set it out there, like, just kind of ignored him. And I haven't seen him in very many top 32s. Like, and if he is, he's in the back end of them. So I just kind of left him out of mine. Ravens, Mike Green, lock it in. Position of need, faller, value pick. Like, this is exactly what the Ravens do and how the Ravens have kept an awesome roster for like 20 years. Like, It's probably even longer than that. And since Ray Lewis years, 2000, so 25 years, they've been near the top of that division. Like, this is how you do it. Take falling values. If even if it's not a position of need, and here they get lucky, they got a position of need. Ravens, ecstatic fans in the room, everywhere. Lions on the clock. I think wide receiver would be interesting. I'm curious if, with the culture they have, if welcome evil smarty. I guess I do not know what the Tucker allegations are. Okay, that's okay. It's the small arms. Yeah, that's right. He's the small arms guy. Was that measured at pro day and because like weren't all the measurements all messed up at the combine? Um, so we're on the Lions. I think that they have the culture that would be successful for Luther Burden, but I also don't think that that is the route that they want to go. I think they want to get somebody on the opposite side of Aiden Hutchinson. We're going to go with an edge rusher here. They also James Pierce Jr. is very interesting, but I think they're going to pass on that as well. They love culture, and they're going to take Nick Scorton. And there is a player who I think will go in the first round who I don't have in the first round right now, and that's Derek Harmon, I believe his name is. Yeah, apparently all the teams in the 20s love him. So I could see him go at any point here. I didn't have him. I have him going near the top of the second. So Washington's on the clock. Pittsburgh's up next. There's still two teams that need quarterback in this draft. You have the Steelers and you have the Giants. Now, will the Commanders actually make a trade to a division opponent so they can come up and get their quarterback? Well, if we look at what Washington has, they're missing a third round pick and a fifth round pick this year. They probably would like to get a little bit of capital. If they move back a few spots, they could still have a chance to get Travion Henderson, who I think would fit them very well. So at pick 29, I have the Commanders trading this pick with the Giants for picks 34, and they just add 105. So they get a free fourth round pick, move down 5 spots. The value chart says this is pretty close. We're going to force this trade. Apparently we didn't force this trade. Give me a minute. I wonder... Where are you? Hold on. Why is this not... What just happened? I think it bugged out. So... Are you guys also seeing this? Pick 34 is just gone. Yeah, it deleted pick 34 from the group. So I can't make the trade I have. So we'll just, I mean, I'm only doing one round, so we're just going to move down to the next pick. And we're going to just do this straight up. What is going on? Yeah, I have no idea. We're just going to do this. Hopefully it works this time. All right, so we got that done. We have the Giants moving up to take Jalen Milroe right in front of the Steelers. Steelers wanted Milroe. That's why they trade back, because they wanted to get a quarterback, but they also wanted some stuff. Um, yeah. Yeah, there was definitely a glitch there, and it threw me off. And apparently, whenever I moved the stuff, um, I got things mixed up too, and I didn't have Pittsburgh here. So Pittsburgh's on the clock. They need a safety. I have them. Okay, no, never mind. This is right. I have them taking the athletic freak, Nick Emanwari. Yeah, I seen it. I seen it on the right side, but it definitely wasn't working correctly. It's all good. I think maybe PFF just doesn't allow division trades for quarterbacks. Maybe they knew what was going on. And they called me out. Like, no, no, you're absolutely nuts, sir. That that is not the way this works. Learn ball. So Kansas City on the clock. This is the pick that I hope happens, and I didn't do this intentionally. But Josh Connerly Jr., Kansas City, he's available. Absolute smash pick. I know that they've been linked with Ursary, but I believe that that's more for a possible second round pick than a first round pick. And I think that they just run this card in for Connerly and don't look back. Now the Eagles. The Eagles are very interesting. At first, I wanted to throw Luther Burden on the Eagles because they do need a wide receiver. There's been the A.J. Brown talk. That's something that I haven't seen anywhere have. I believe that they could, if he is a character guy, that they'd be able to get around that. So, but I ended up going with the other thing. Like, their needs are fake. I don't believe those are needs. None of those. Gray Zabel would make sense here too. But what I have them doing is this whole offseason, they've been trying to trade a certain player. They've been trying to trade Dallas Goedert. What if they just love Mason Taylor? I have them taking Mason Taylor. I've heard a little bit of buzz about Mason Taylor going in the first. I think that is a possibility, and them loving Mason Taylor could be the reason that all this Dallas Goedert stuff started up. So that is my first round mock. I don't know how bad or good it was, if anybody thought it was completely ridiculous. I mean, every time you ever do a mock, like anytime I've ever done one, like I've just done them privately, there's always a player or two that you don't like that fell out, and like Derek Harmon and Walter Nolan feel like that to me, in mine for sure. I could definitely see like I honestly believe when the draft happens that a team will almost definitely trade in to the back end of the first round to take Travion Henderson. Uh, I just didn't find a way to fit it in myself. So those are some things. So now Buku plays like he eats glass and spits fire. Yeah, well, now we're going to get into like the dynasty picks and stuff. And this is just, I'm not assuming. So, like, on this part, yeah, I agree. But there's always a player that falls here and there, right? So this sheet right here is this one. All of the players who are fantasy relevant and just possible landing spots, and like some of them I couldn't really think, like I added in late because I missed them and I did it in a rush before I started, and just possible landing spots, and none of this takes into consideration anything I did for trades. So like with what I done, I think Travion, like with my mock, Travion would be going to the Commanders at pick 34 unless the Bears traded up before pick 34 to take him. So this is assuming no trades. So Travion with no trades, I believe possible landing spots will be Washington 29, Chicago, Houston if they wanted to trade up. And I could see Kansas City. Kansas City has continually talked. I could. I could. Um, uh, but Kansas City continually has been talking about how they miss the Jerick McKinnon role. And Travion Henderson is like an elite version of the Jerick McKinnon role. I would not rule out Travion Henderson to the Kansas City Chiefs at pick 31. I think that they will go tackle, but I would not rule that out at all. That we have in the past taken a round one running back, Edwards-Helaire, so you know they're willing to do it. That's just one of my takes. Quinshon Judkins, the Bengals at 49. Bengals take a local kid, Quinshon Judkins. Like, I mean, pretty local. Like he played at Ohio State, Cincinnati, in Ohio. And team fits, I think the Giants would be awesome for him. Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, he plays with that style, and I think Cleveland would also be, which is kind of weird. I threw almost all the teams that are close to Ohio State in there. Dylan Sampson to the Texans. This isn't something you love if you drafted a lot of Sampson like I have, but I do think that in this class we could see the Texans take a running back in round 2 or 3, and behind Joe Mixon, like maybe near the end of the season, he replaces Joe Mixon. But I think the Texans could do something like this with the first round tackle. And that's just Quinshon to Bengals makes sense. Yeah, exactly. Like it's like a perfect thunder and lightning thing there. Like I think that would make a ton of sense. Sampson is kind of a mix and mold to me. Maybe I read him wrong, but I could see him like I think it was Sampson, like 33 of 36 short yardage plays he turned into first downs. Like he just knows where the first down marker is. So why would you not want a player like that in your team? I think that makes a lot of sense. Caleb Johnson, I'm not very high on him. Maybe I done this just because I don't like him in best ball. I mean, Travion, let's be honest. Travion kind of fits in this everywhere role, right? Like all like Hampton, Genty, Travion pretty much would fit on any team and can fit any role. All of them can catch the ball and run between the tackles. Like Hampton is a little less in catching and a little more between the tackles, and Henderson's a little more catching and a little less between the tackles, but they can absolutely be all of it, right? Uh, I got a feeling the Niners take Caleb. He does. Yeah. So as you see, Caleb Johnson, my scheme fits are Chicago, San Francisco, Baltimore, and Cleveland. I think the Ravens would be willing to take Caleb Johnson, who he's like a bad version of Derrick Henry. Like but if he goes to the Ravens and he's on a offense that is ran by Lamar Jackson with the rush lanes that are going to open up with the zone scheme that they have, he would destroy in Dynasty. Like for Dynasty, this would be amazing. You wouldn't get a lot of production this year, but like if they have Caleb Johnson come in behind Derrick Henry, like another big back that's explosive, that would be absolutely nuts for defenses to have to deal with, right? And I like that fit, although everybody who has listened to me for a bit knows I'm not huge on Caleb Johnson. Cam Scatabo goes 66 to the Chiefs. I could see him going to the Chargers, the Commanders. I think he would be awesome for Baltimore. Like he would be a upgraded version of the Hill roll. Oh, hey, no problem. I do it for myself. You guys are welcome. It wasn't for you, Howie. It was for me. No, it makes it easier for everybody to see. Um, I appreciate you shouting that out. Answer to the poll question. So we'll go to this. I said earlier that they have said the Jerick McKinnon role a whole lot. Cam Scatabo is the perfect player to replace that role. I think, like, not only is he have all the receiving upside, he's also going to bring the energy that Kansas City already thrives off of because of the way Pacheco runs. Like, you bring in Scatabo and you get that also in the receiving game. Like, I mean, I think Scatabo would just be the number one back, but he's also going to be a receiving back. Like, he's just going to bring the power to every situation. I think that that's a scheme, like a team fit that makes a ton of sense. Yeah, I think that I think smart teams are going to be into Cam Scatabo and that they're going to know how to use him. Like, I would be really scared if Scatabo goes to like the Giants. Like, they need a running back, but like he kind of does what Tracy does, but better. Kind of maybe like, or the Dolphins. Like it wouldn't make sense to me. Um, so my boy, as everybody knows, and Fantasy Dogs boy, Damian Martinez did not crack the top 75. He goes at 76 to the Cowboys. They've actually there's been talks that the Cowboys might just take him in the second round. I don't think that happens. But I do think that this would make total sense. And for Martinez, his style fits Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, Dallas, and the Giants. But I think any of those teams, like if he lands on any team like that, it's an absolute smash. RJ Harvey, pick 86 to the Chargers. He would make a really good explosive back behind Najee Harris, who is the least explosive back maybe in NFL history. Like continual starting running back. Fits I have for him is the Chargers, the Rams, the Texans, and the Raiders. If the Raiders don't end up getting to Genty, I could see them taking, and Travion is gone. Like I could see them going in the third round and taking a Martinez, Harvey, a Scatabo, something like that. Tootin, pick 100 to the Niners. I think that the NFL as a whole is going to be a little worried about Tootin because of his fumbles. But and he also doesn't create himself a whole lot. But I think that the Niners, the Browns, the Texans, and the Rams would all be reasonable, good landing spots for him. The Rams is kind of tough, like, because he would absolutely destroy it or get destroyed there. DJ Giddens, 104 to the Browns. I think this would be an absolute smash for them. I don't even have them listed as a fit, but you see a lot of their fits other than Washington, and Washington hasn't picked yet in this round. Like, and Washington didn't have picks, remember? So they're kind of getting boxed out at running back in what I have. So Giddens 104 to the Browns, like I think that would be an absolutely great spot for him. Devin Neal, Jaguars 107. Anything, I'll just kind of quickly go over these and then we'll get to the wide receivers. Jordan James, Giants 105. Raheem Sanders, Patriots. Brashard Smith, I think, is perfect for the Colts in the 4th round, just a receiving back behind Jonathan Taylor. Like, has a role, should know his role. Jarquez Hunter, 123, the Steelers. Trevor Etienne, 128, the Commanders. Blue, 135, Dolphins. Gordon, 171, Patriots. Taj Brooks, 177, Commanders. A fan favorite of a lot of people, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, 184 to the Saints. I didn't like him at all. Maybe I'm wrong. All right, so we go to the wide receivers. Egbuka, pick 35 to the Titans. Absolutely perfect fit. Like, they have to choose between Burden and Egbuka. I think they would take Egbuka if he's there. If he's not there, I think it's between Kyle Williams and Burden. But if Egbuka's there, I think that they'll just smash the Titans. Or the Titans will smash Egbuka. Tootin is currently the best value if taken at 72 or later, in your opinion. The negative is 9 fumbles. But yeah, right. The problem is with his, like, he actually had a reasonably good elusive rating by PFF as well. But people say he can't create by himself. Not exactly what I've seen. But I don't know. Like, he's going to be very good or very bad. Like, that is what's going to happen with Tootin. He's going to be awesome, or he's going to turn into Tyrion Davis Price. You know, like, it's one or the other. New York Giants have Tyrone Tracy, stud running back, emerged, played great in the second half. Yeah. Oh yeah, I know about Tracy. I just think that they're going to bring in a bruiser if they can. All right, so Luther Burden, I think the Raiders are in a spot to where why not gamble on a player who's just a character concern at this point? You have Chip Kelly to scheme him up. You just got Ashton Genty. Luther Burden could be your like Jacoby Myers is a great NFL wide receiver, but he's not a true like elite number one, like game breaker, right? So Luther Burden at least has that upside in him. Like, I'm not huge into Luther Burden, but that upside is there. I think the Raiders, after taking Genty in the first, why not, if Burden's there at 37, smash Luther Burden? Jaden Higgins going to the Patriots at 38 makes just a ton of sense. As you see, all 3 of these teams need like X receivers. I can in a little bit. Whenever I get through the receivers, I'll take any questions on players. And I'm not completely informed on all of them, but I do know a little bit about most. Jalen Knoll goes 47 to the Cardinals. I think this is very possible. If Matthew Golden's available to the Cardinals in the first, I could see them pulling that trigger. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they'll go defense. But Jalen Knoll would fit with Marvin Harrison and McBride very well. And he would be an upgrade, most likely, over Michael Wilson. Jalen Knowles fits. I have Arizona, Jacksonville, Green Bay, and Washington. The Seahawks pick then at 52, take Alec Iomanner. I think that if somehow Jaden Higgins goes before the Patriots, Iomanner will be in play there. Just kind of those teams all need that style of receiver. Kyle Williams goes to 54 to the Packers, which I think would be a fantastic pick. They need a true number one. He's something they don't really have. He has the potential to be that kind of player. And I think that with all of these other receivers going off the board, I think a receiver run happens. I think that this Jalen Knoll 47 pick could start like this right here. Just a whole lot of guys going in the second round. And then the Chargers pick right after the Packers. And the only wide receiver that I have in that tier left is Jack Besh, who's honestly, I believe, a perfect scheme fit for the Chargers. Like you get a big Mike Williams style wide receiver who's young, who Mike Williams can help along, and you still have Ladd in the middle. You have QJ also to run around and do all the things he does. Like I think that this would be a really sick receiver core. Jack Best could replace Mike Williams near the end of the season, or they could just rotate the whole season and stay fresh. I think that that would be an awesome pick for them. Jalen Royals going to the Texans at 79. They need somebody who can create and be explosive. That kind of like they don't really have a manufactured touch kind of player. I think Jalen Royals could be a manufactured touch kind of player. The Raiders would be a nice landing spot for Burton. Is this Meg or is this Steve? What tight end is a good fit for the Jets? I have Terrence Ferguson going to the Jets. And then I think that, I mean, Tyler Warren's the best fit for the Jets. Like, I mean, I just didn't have them taking Tyler Warren in my stuff. I think it's 50-50 Mimbu Warren there. Completely agree. At his peak, an elite wide receiver 2 on a winning team with a majority of the time at the slot. Yep. All right. I just like to know who I'm talking to. The Rams at 101 take a swing on maybe the most fun player in the draft. A wide receiver with a ton of upside, Savion Williams. I personally, like, I kind of think that he ends up with the Rams or the Steelers. I would love to see what Sean McVay cooks up for Savion Williams. We got the Titans here. Took Cam Ward at 1. Took Igbuka in the second round. They don't have a third round pick. But why not just continue to load up on offense? Xavier Restrepo, pair Cam Ward up with his wide receiver from last year, 103, to the Titans. He would be a fit for them as well. I think Igbuka could play outside wide receiver just fine. Like he might be a little better in the slot, but like you could rotate in Restrepo for sure. Isaiah Bond, 110 to the Jets. Yeah, that's why I was confused, because it's usually - Meg. Then Trey Harris, 116 to the Dolphins. Torrey Horton, 128 to the Commanders. Would be a fantastic find if Torrey Horton could make it all the way there. Tez Johnson to the Cardinals, 152. Pat Bryant. I think if Pat Bryant lands on the Bills, like Pat Bryant to me kind of feels like a Josh Palmer type. And why not just have a rookie version that has a crazy contested catch rate? To battle, like, and possibly, like, I think that's the 5th round. Like, why not throw a dart at a wide receiver that's got size and is awesome in contested catches? Isaac Teslaw, 176 on the Ravens. And then tight ends, Arroyo, 45 to the Colts. Ferguson, 73 to the Jets. Harold Fannin, I couldn't find a spot to take him because of all the offensive players I have going early. For him to go much earlier than this. But I think the Rams would be fun for Fannin, right? And yeah, thanks for showing up, Anthony. I didn't shout you out. Sorry, sir. And Gamblestein, welcome. I'm fooling nobody. This is for fun. Yeah, Yeah, I mean, that's probably right. I mean, this is probably correct. But who knows? I don't know that. We had a question on Taj Brooks. What do you want to know about him? Let me. I'm looking for my draft prospects stuff. This, by the way, will not be in black and white. Uh, give me a minute. All right. So Taj Brooks, like this is pretty much all I have on him. He's 5'10", 230. He had 1,512 yards, 17 touchdowns, 3.1 yards per attempt. His elusiveness rating was low, very low. Like that's one reason I like Damian Martinez. He had a 126, but he's a big back. Um, my personal notes on Taj Brook was good. Whoop, I messed it up. Good vision and close. Sometimes misses the outside lane opening. Solid movement within the hole. No top end speed, but he's good laterally. That's what I had on him. We will go back to the non death glare screen. You're welcome. All right. So, anything anybody wants to discuss on that or not? Uh, Either way, I'm going to. I think if anybody wants to, I still have 3 big boards to do. I think I'm going to load up a big board. I might actually pop into the bigger board real quick and see if I can't get the bigger board done because I still have one left and it's getting closer, like it's like 90% filled now. Only one more to start for the bigger board. Anybody want in a bigger board? We have one more. Let me go to YouTube and I'm still new to all this streaming stuff. I have to figure out how to change the title. There it is. All right. So anybody who wants in, I'm going to send this out to the Pound Discord. Um, all right. So I agree with your Taj assessment. Pretty solid lateral movement and quickness, but no top gear. Yeah. I think they could, but they have to trade back like I had for them to do so. That's one reason I think that they will trade back. Like with all the good running backs, I still was having trouble getting all the teams that need running backs a back. Like I couldn't find a spot to get the Steelers one. I couldn't find a spot to get um I couldn't find a spot to get the Patriots one like within a reasonable time. So I think that the running backs, I think a lot of them will be gone by the end of round 4. I really do. All right, this is perfect. I got the 8 hole I need to not draft Trey Benson because I have Trey Benson in two of my bigger boards, which I'm not even into Trey Benson. He just always fell. Yep. Luckily, we got this filled. Um, so, but thank you for all who showed up for the draft portion of this. I appreciate it. I will eventually probably put out like a video, like whenever I figure out how to do like the shorts and all that. I'll probably put out shorts here and there for Dynasty, and but then all of my live stuff will be drafts for the most part. Um, Now probably like Saturday night, I might go live and laugh about how bad my muck was. I think that sounds like fun. All right, so oh man, I know you were trying to fill one. It's been rough for me to try to get one filled, so I'm glad. We got I don't know any of these names. So if CMC makes it to pick 17, I will take him. He's not going to, but I think my lone CMC share being in a bigger board would make sense. I know it's not going to happen, but I'm just putting it out there. We'll go ahead and close this poll. What did you guys think of the possible landing spots? Like what somebody said, like you said, like Tez being a Bronco, like that that makes a lot of sense too. I just they went out and got Troy Franklin, who arguably didn't work out for Bo Nix last year. I just don't know if they're gonna also go get him, right? Like for Bo Nix, because Troy Franklin, like if you consider him working out, like it didn't work out till very late. So I that's my only pause on Bo Nix going there. I want Harvey to be a Steeler so he can take Warren's job. Wow, do you hate Warren, don't you? I have I don't have neighbors on a war room or a bigger board team. So I'm going to go ahead and take neighbors. I have like two shares of I'm very low owned on Amon, but on my war room teams, I do have two of my four teams are Amon Ra teams. I'm back. Sorry, I definitely see Taj with some unexpected sideways jump cuts, crazy lower body. Not sure if that can be built upon. I mean, it all can be if they're willing to learn, right? Like he does like he was way faster at the combine than I expected. Like way faster. I was pretty out on him until the combine, and I don't love the pick still, but I think it's a fine pick. Like there is a world where he's fine. Yeah, that's exactly. And like I think if Damian Martinez is still there at 83, I think that they could absolutely smash that pick. Like I think Damian Martinez with Jalen Warren would be a nasty duo. Um, and I think that would be pretty awesome. What's up, Putt Daddy? If you're curious what I had Kansas City doing in the draft, the first half of this video, I did a mock draft. It's probably going to be the worst one streamed the entire year, but you know what? I did it. I had fun. That's what I was here for. All right. Do I think I just take the guy, right? Just take the guy. Yeah, I have Lad fairly close to Drake, but I do have Drake above him. Landing spots, can you put the screen back up? I remember agreeing with with wide receiver. Uh, that was Savion Williams. I had Savion Williams going there. I can do that. Howie, like this is $100 draft, so I'm gonna focus on this for the most part. But in between, I can go back a little bit because I pay attention to what everybody's doing to see what craziness is going on as well. He absolutely could. Uh, so I had Jack Besh going to the Chargers at 55, who I think is a perfect player for that. And I have Savion to the Rams at 101. I think it's going to be fun the day, like Saturday at some point after the draft. I'm going to keep this file and I'm going to add where everybody went. And then I'll probably just load it up on a stream and we can all laugh about how bad it was. If I get like 2 running backs and 2 wide receivers correct out of the non-first rounders, I would be ecstatic because it's such a crapshoot. There's so much talent this year. So you got Genty CMC from this spot. That's very solid. Yeah, I there's been a lot of Jerick McKinnon talk, and I don't think there's a player in this draft like we could. I did mention we could surprise pick Travion if he's there, but I think that Kansas City will want. Like I think that if we don't get him, we'll take Scatabo or Brashard Smith. I think one of those 3 players will end up in Kansas City. But I also thought last year we would take Dylan Laube in the 5th or 6th round. And that did not happen. And I think he would have been the perfect McKinnon replacement. I'm not sure if while I was doing the mock, if I was keeping the comments all the way up on the board all the time, like on the stream. I usually try to make sure I click them off, but I had an extra file up, so my whole setup was different, so I couldn't see if those were up in the way the whole time or not. So sorry if I messed that up. Lifelong Jalen Warren Fader. I did read that earlier. I just like why? What's the reasoning? I'm curious. I was in on Jalen Warren last year and it was not great. It was not great at all. So tomorrow, for those of you who tune in every daily, my Monday stream is gonna not happen. This is gonna be for my Monday stream. Uh, I have to go into work tomorrow. That's why I have today off. So I'll be back Tuesday at 4 p.m. Tuesday and Wednesday. I will definitely be here at 4 p.m. I'll probably do something the night before the draft. I might just do one little draft. All right. Think we take Marvin Harrison here. Get a divisional correlation with Drake London. Possible Week 17 matchup. I guess Devontae Adams also fits that bill. But this contest has been open the whole time. I'm going to not take the player who there's some shares at like 55, 56 of. Like if he comes back around, I'll definitely take him. But there is a player I want on the wrap back around. I don't think he'll be there. He's been going a little higher than usual. I think a lot of you know the player I'm talking about. And some of you do not. I'm ecstatic to get my final bigger board in. I was wondering if I was going to be able to. Warren just always felt too expensive for the change of pace guy behind a workhorse like Najee. Yeah, no, the thing is like everyone disrespects Najee. And like everybody who likes Warren hates Najee, right? Like, and I'm not big on Najee. Najee's been productive, but it always felt like somebody was going to take that role over, but nobody ever did. That's why Warren's price was so high. If they take Martinez, like I think Martinez is going to be a better NFL back than Najee Harris. Like I know that's wild to say, but that's where I'm at. Uh, so if that happens, I don't know where I'm going to be on Warren, but it is an Arthur Smith offense to where last year he said he wanted to run 500 times. So you wouldn't you want to have a little bit of both of them? Like that's 250 a piece. Marion Hampton, thank you. Come on down, smash. 4 rounds. Marion Hampton, Malik Neighbors, Drake London, Marvin Harrison. Please go to a good landing spot, sir. Hey, thanks, Chad. Nice to see you here. Thanks for stopping by. The first half of this video, I did a mock draft. Probably a really bad one, but I had fun with it. I had a trade that I think very few people have that I think makes some sense. I don't think it's like incredibly likely, but if the board falls the way that I had it falling, I think it would make some sense. And that's the teaser to make you actually watch it. Agree. Dow Golden, LA Rant, TCU, KC Scat, and I remember liking your Broussard Smith spot. That was the Colts. Basically the Naheem Hines role. Like they've been wanting, like they need a Naheem Hines style player. I think Broussard Smith would make a ton of sense for the Colts. And it's not like the if you were not sure, this is Underdog Fantasy. This is it's best ball, and if you're not familiar with what best ball is, I can actually go over all of that. So yeah, this is just a draft. So you draft a team, and this is your team the whole season. You cannot make roster moves. If an injury happens, you're screwed. And yes, we're doing it before the NFL draft, hoping that Amari and Hampton lands on the Broncos. Hoping that, like, when you take Rome Odunze, that they don't just decide to add Tet McMillan for some reason at 10. You know? I mean, that's what they did last year. You know, like what? Who? All right, thank you, sir. I enjoy it. It'll be fun after the draft to go back and see how bad it was. Like, I'll laugh. That's all that's going to happen. It feels so hard to explain from the ground up, but we've all been there. Yeah. Yeah, so not trying to ask for all spoilers, but do you have the Jags taping? I did a round 1 mock, and then I went over this sheet right here of just if no trades happen, where lots of people could go. Like just things that make sense to me. So that part was a lot harder. Like that part was kind of hard. Yeah, it was a lot, but it was all for fun. I had fun. I don't know if anybody else had fun. Yeah, if you're curious about that, I actually don't even know. I think I have a promo code. If I make a pick'em, like I think my promo code is Whohames, but this website will literally they match. I think if you use that promo code, you get a deposit match up to $1,000. I'm not positive. I would not try that. I would go to a site like a different one if you're gonna do it. Give them the 10. It's only $10 that I get. So like go somewhere you know has one. I believe. And if you were interested in signing up, like Just find somewhere that has one for sure. I don't have a whole lot of DK Metcalf, but I kind of like it here. A little later than usual. I don't know how often he's going to be paired with London and Neighbors. So get a little unique here. And I mean, it's a bigger board, so you just want the best players. The 23 seat final, it doesn't matter as much. I believe that DK Metcalf, I know Gamblestein loves DK Metcalf. He's going to have some big spike weeks. We all know that. He's a down the field threat. Uh, if Aaron Rodgers lands there, he's good. Like, yeah, and there's potential upside if Pickens gets moved. That are PR. Is that relevant? I assume. I'm not great with slang. I'm an old dude. Uh, if you had to put all your money on one of your landing spots after the first round, which one would I pick? Oh, that's gross. Uh, I I don't know. I think a very likely one. Like I wouldn't want to make this because this player could just fall to the fifth or sixth round. But I like the odds of Restrepo going to Tennessee at pick 101 or whatever pick that is, the first pick of the fourth round. I really like that one. Does this feel like an Alvin Kamara or a James Conner team? Well, I have a bunch. Well, I have Marvin Harrison, so let's continue that bet. I like Kamara better as a player, but we're gonna make the team bet with Marvin Harrison and James Conner. And because I have a bunch of two of my other teams have Trey Benson, like why not lock that in? Because I only get five teams here, so why not counter that with some James Conner? So I at least have that backfield, right? Assuming they don't draft Travion Henderson in the second round or something. I think that's my most likely as well. Uh, but I do like I think it's 50-50 he gets drafted in the first too. Like if he's available to the Titans, I I think that's like almost a lock. The question is, does he make it there? Welcome, by the way, FK Coolers. I think the PR was punt return to try for the upside. Yeah. I don't he was asking what this screen was, so I don't know if he's even familiar with what best ball is. But for dynasty stuff, that would totally make sense. Yeah, I how many Puerto Ricans are there in the NFL? I know of one as a Chiefs fan. I think I'm probably wrong there too. All right, we got Malik Neighbors, Drake London, Marvin Harrison, Omarion Hampton, DK Metcalf, James Conner. The sports books are really pricing in Egbuka as a round one wide receiver now. Are they? It is the line 2.5 still? I know the line was 2.5 and everybody was hammering the under. Um, if it's moved, like I think the smartest thing the Packers could do is take Igbuka. Like, I think he's a number one receiver. PR punt return skills from an athletic standpoint. It translates to multiple things, like immediate success as a rookie on the field. Yeah, and they stay on the field too, right? It's minus 200 for first round, which is 67% implied. Oh, just for him? That's weird. Yeah, I actually haven't looked through the rookie bets yet. I'm probably going to do that probably Wednesday or something. I wonder how they'll count Hunter for the line. Yeah. Oh yeah, for the wide receivers. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, just for Egbuka to go in round one. Got it. Baker goes early. I had a team. I did a big board earlier today, and I took Baker at 76 because I had a double stack, and I took Terry McLaurin. Jaden didn't come back, and then I took Devontae Smith. I think it was Devontae Smith. Yeah, I took Devontae Smith, and Hertz didn't come back. So I just took Godwin because I took Bucky before. I took Godwin and then I just pulled up Baker because I had to have a stack somewhere. Well, we all know what I want here. But if I don't get Igbuka, I am 100% comfortable with Tony Pollard. Igbuka, come on down. So in the bigger board, for those of you who don't know, the tournament structure is 4 of 12 advance out of the first 14 weeks into a pot of 2 of 8 into a pot of 1 of 8 with a 23 seat final. 2,208 entrants. First 30K. Just see that all on the board. So you make $750. It's 500 to max enter. So if you get one of your 5 entrants to the finals, you make $250 with a chance at $30,000. Yeah, I think I believe it says Travis Hunter will not be counted as a wide receiver somewhere on that page. I think if you look into a lot of the bets, like somewhere it says that in the details. I haven't personally looked at that, but I've heard other people say that that's there. I haven't went into making my own bets yet, so I don't know. I'll look then. McMillan goes super late sometimes these days. Yeah, he goes. I got McMillan at like 120. Like 120. What are we doing? He's still very, very solid. This is kind of the area I think Caleb Johnson should be going is the back over here. I thought that the entire time, even before the combine, because before the combine he was going before Judkins, and Judkins was going here. I always thought that was flipped. I wanted Hawkinson to fall back to me, but I like that pick for the Jordan Addison drafter. Hawkinson falls sometimes, but we're just gonna go ahead, get a rushing upside quarterback, go ahead and get rushing touchdowns, the stolen rushing touchdowns, and the wide receiver one, probably the number 2 target there, right? Go ahead and lock that in, and pretty much for the rest of the draft, I can go best player available. I don't really need to stack as like it's not that important. And like it's nice, but it's not incredibly important with a 23 seat final. Kyler Murray offers that rushing floor that, and he said that he's going to run more this year. So that rushing floor should be good for a 4 of 12 advance. Bigger board specifically, I wanted to be done with quarterback quite early and have no exposure to the rookies. Interesting. I kind of went about it the opposite way to where I wanted more exposure to the rookies because of the 4 of 12 advance. I also moved up Brandon Ayuk. I moved up the previously injured players like Ayuk and Rashee Rice specifically for my rankings in this. Like I take them 3 or 4 or 5 more spots. Yeah, I seen your exposures the other day. There are some wild ones there. You have a lot of Cam Ward. Yeah, like you were talking about how not having an overlay is definitely a negative for you. I used Spike Week all the way up until last week. They made an update, and the tool, like the downloadable thing for my browser, like I had all my information saved on it. Well, they moved all that to the website. So, and my subscription ends up here in like a week. So I'm just going to cancel the subscription and move over to Pat's. Uh, I think I like the Spike Week one more, but it's like $200 more for the year. I didn't have enough Hampton, so I grabbed him in three bigger boards. And that's something like all of my other bigger boards, like I have a Kyron Williams team. I have like 3% Kyron Williams. I have a Caleb Johnson team. Yeah, the only thing about Pat, it's not Pat's, it's the one guy in his channel who made it, but Pat's like part of it, right? I wish you could remove the dollar spent. Like, I don't care what the dollar spent is. I know what the exposures I have on I can keep like which ones I had a bigger board share of or a war room share. And I kind of go tournaments, like my bigger board exposures. Why should they be shown in the little board? Like having an overall exposure, there's nothing wrong with it. But for the dollar amount, that doesn't seem to make sense. I know some people like it. Yeah, Cody's doing the same. Yeah. So they removed it and like all the stuff I set up. And I took like 2 hours the first day to like color coordinate the things the way that I wanted them to look instead of the way they had them. And it lasted like that for like a year. But then, but then, uh, then the bad stuff happened. They removed it. Is this just gonna be another Cam Scatabo team? I think this is gonna be another Cam Scatabo team. I have a very, very hard time clicking Ramondre. My wide receivers are very solid. I mean, yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and take Scatabo here. Get my third running back. Yeah, I know several people who believe that. I'm I'm kind of in there. Like I just I like his upside versus all the veterans in this area. I think Tank Bigsby was better than Travis Etienne last year. Maybe I'm wrong. I think Ramondre. I don't have the Patriots taking a running back fairly early, but I do think that it is in the cards for them to do it. Uh, and if they do it, I don't think Ramondre is going to last long. New coaching staff coming in, fumble history. He's just not looked as good to me like watching him as he did 2 years ago. So I'm kind of out. Like I wouldn't mind taking him after Scadabo's gone, but if Scadabo gets round three capital, like he's gonna be going here or higher, right? Like he's definitely gonna push up above ETN and Ramondre to me if we know a landing spot. Even if unless the landing spot is a team who has shown interest, who would be awful, and that's the Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals have shown interest in Cam Scatabo, and that would be really, really bad for Cam Scatabo and all of Cam Scatabo's supporters. Stevenson will definitely need volume and pass work to pay off his ADPs. Yes. And if they don't add somebody, yeah, I'll start clicking them here and there, you know. All right. So, which rushing quarterback do we want? Do we want the Drakester or do we want the Fields? I personally like Drake May more. I think Drake May's the safer bet. And there is a chance that maybe New England trades back into the back end of the first round and takes Ibuka. Like, who knows? I don't think that's very likely. I don't, but who knows? Maybe that happens. Yeah, I'm May over Fields for sure. Um, I will draft Fields sometimes over May just for exposure reasons, but I have like 18.5 or 19% Drake May right now. I've pretty much faded every veteran running back in that 100 to 200 range. If they don't get competition, I'll fix it. Exactly what I'm doing, Hartman. I love it. Great mind, sir. Saw you pick Connerly for KC. Cody has Ursery for Minnesota. No, not really. Connerly Connerly is looked at as the better prospect overall. Like Andy Reid has in the past just taken guys that he just likes a lot more without worried about what the rest of the league thinks at offensive line, and it's worked out okay and it's worked out bad. So Kingsley, hopefully he works whenever he moves to guard, assuming that does happen. Uh, Cody was like, what Cody did is he found a connection. Like, there's a whole bunch of connection with the Chiefs and Ursery. And I don't think that Kansas City ever leaks what they're going to do. I think they intentionally visit things and do other things to just bait people on thinking that that's who they want. I think, like, I mean, that's what they did with Rashee Rice. They had like no connection to Clyde Edwards-Helaire, if I remember right. Um, the only year I remember a whole lot was the year we had the number 1 overall pick years ago with Eric Fisher. Like, there was a whole lot of connection there, but we had nothing to hide, and Brett Veach wasn't there. But since Brett Veach has been there, it kind of feels like that's what happens. All right. All right, all right, all right. I think Dalton Kincaid, tight end 1, makes sense for this team. I already have 2 rookie running backs. I don't count Hampton as a rookie running back because he's not going to get drafted in a spot that he's going to have a role day 1, no matter where he goes. So I draft him like he's just a starter. Scatabo, that may not be the case. So I don't want to add another like rookie that's like Tootin is highly volatile. I do think that that's kind of what that was. And whatever Mahomes wants, Mahomes has got. I feel like after that Super Bowl, Mahomes doesn't, I don't think he wants another weapon. I think he wants to stand up in the pocket. Like I think that he's going to want a tackle of some kind. But I think the Ursery to Kansas City stuff is real if Ursery's there in the second, because a lot of people like have Ursery going mid to late second round. So I do think that they could be interested in him if he makes it there. Get my third quarterback, Michael Penix, Drake London. We got Drake May, solo, Kyler Murray with Harrison, Penix with Drake London. Pretty solid start. Done at quarterback. I wanted 3 quarterbacks just to try to guarantee, like, get closer to guarantee my weekly floor for that position with a 4 of 12 advance. It might be smarter. I don't know. It may be smarter to go 2 quarterbacks with 4 of 12 advance, because in the 1 of 8, in the 2 of 8 and the 1 of 8 week, it's easier to skate by, and having more people available in the round of 23 might be better, but I don't know. Absolutely. I agree with this. I really hope Ford makes it back to me, but he won't. Like, Ford is very quickly moving up, and he should. He's a starting running back right now. The Browns, like, are they going to take Judkins in the second? Maybe. Uh, but like, what's it going to take for him to not have a role on that team? It's going to take a lot. Like, even if they took like Judkins or Henderson or something in the second round, like, it's not like Jerome Ford's going to disappear. He's still going to be like, it's still a rookie that's coming in, and he was still serviceable last year. And I mean, not that you want a 30% carry back, but like, wouldn't that be like the floor for him, at least for the first part of the season? Damian Martinez to the Browns. They love taking that would be a very good pick for them for sure. Yeah, I think I think if that is definitely on the table. Like, I'm gonna be shocked if Damian Martinez makes it out of the third round myself. I think he fits too many teams myself. Yeah, and it's a team that definitely wants to run the ball. I don't have as much as I want. Yeah, I for sure they want to run the ball. If you watch the mock that I done, like, I kind of discussed it. Like, I remember when the seasons, like when the preseason stuff started, throat's starting to get a little dry. Um, the Browns were saying, we believe we have a roster that can win now. And that's why I think they're going to trade back up into the first, mortgage a little bit of next year, like mortgage a second round pick next year and their second and third round pick this year to move back into the first to get a quarterback. I think that's very likely to happen. Um, or at least move something up. We cannot take Samson. It might be too early for him. Maybe I just go all rookies. Maybe I take Ray Davis. I kind of want to just take Dallas Goddard, honestly. But I won't. I'll take Samson. I might end up with just all rookies here. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Goddard might have been the pick. I don't know the names in this. I don't. But I don't know if Fantasy Dog has seen this yet. But Damian Martinez, his ADP is now 175. I think the secret's out, fam. I think the secret's out. People do love mocking Martinez to AFC North teams. Yeah. I mean, he is that brand. However, did not. Like, I didn't do a full mock, so I just kind of looked at what could make some sense, like what teams and stuff. Because let's be honest, I care a lot more about the fantasy players than the other players with what we're doing here, you know? Question is, do I pull Martinez up right here? Yeah, and I've got like 70 subscribers. Like, it wasn't me. It was Josh and Hayden's video is what it was. I think I take Ray Davis here. And if Martinez makes it back, I take him. I don't think Martinez will. But I also could just take Algier. I feel really good about just those five wide receivers. Like, I'll tack on probably three at the end. Uh, might need to look into tight end here pretty soon. I do want some Hunter Henry. If he makes it, he makes it. This could be one of my very few Demario Douglas shares too. Are you saying fading him is wild? Because let me tell you, I am not fading Rashad White. I have plenty on Rashad White, which is one of the reasons I didn't take him here in the bigger board. Uh, I mean, I would love to say that it was me. And I will say, my Martinez video came out actually the day it came out, like an hour before the underdog Josh and Hayden video came out. So maybe it was me. Maybe they watched my video. I'm sure that's what happened. I'm sure they watched my video. I'm like, that guy knows something. You know, like that had to be what happened, right? Like, definitely. That's what we're going with. Yeah. I could bring up my exposures after this. I think he's not my top three, but I think I'm like 14, 15% ish, something like that. But other than Martinez, my top percent's like 20. So that's pretty high for what I do. I'm not Chad Candles. I don't have three players above 40. It's not that bad, but it's his exposures are a lot more bold than mine. I have Damian Martinez shares before he had an ADP. If I'm a Miami fan, so I knew he was stud day one. Whenever this stream started, I did a mock draft. Before the mock draft, I went over my very first big board team, or my very first big board team. I took Martinez at 163, which is about where he's starting to go. He went to 166 on my very first big board team. And then when I had 86% of him, like every draft I like waited around more to take him until I was just smashing him every draft in the 18th. And then finally I was like, well, what happens if I don't take him? And he basically went undrafted. I think he went undrafted that draft. Oh, okay, yeah. Like you said, you were surprised, and and then you're like, maybe I should go ahead and just get BBO. All right, so I've got 5 running backs. They're reasonable. I do need another tight end. Hunter Henry is the click here. It might have been a little early. I just want to lock it up. I I prefer Zach Ertz in this area, to be honest, but I'm fine with that. I think that this team is coming together pretty good. Right now, I have Kyler Murray, Drake May, Michael Penix. Running backs, Omarion Hampton, James Conner, Cam Scatterbo, Dylan Sampson, Ray Davis. Wide receivers, Malik Neighbors, Drake London, Marvin Harrison, DK Metcalf, Emeka Ibuka. I definitely messed that up. Emeka. Tight ends, Kincaid and Hunter Henry. If you're just joining and you haven't, please smash the like button. Yeah, and in the bigger board, I just want solid teams. Like, I just want to advance. Like, it's 4 of 12. I don't want to get crazy. I do want upside. Like, I have upside, right? But I will probably draft a few more floor players just because, like, you only have one of 8 week. Like, if you get to the semis, it's just a 1 of 8. Like, 1 of 8's not easy. You do need to spike that week. But it's a 1 of 4 advance on average through the regular, and then it's a 1 of 4 advance in the first round of the playoffs. So having a floor, a safe floor, makes a lot of sense in this tournament. I think I don't know. Do I take Gesicki here? I think I feel fine with my tight ends. This might end up being, I mean, it could be a 4 tight end team, but I don't think so. I think in this contest, because of what I was just talking about, I think just surviving at tight end will be easier. And you're basically just looking for a spike week during the playoffs with one of them, or at least, like, if I can get 12 points, 11 points from a tight end in a playoff week, like, I'm pretty good with that with a 1 of 8 advance. I want to thank everybody who came out, watched this. Yeah, so I love Jack Besh too. He's my number 2 overall drafted player right now. I don't think I had a share of him in the bigger board. And what's funny is I don't think I have a single share of Damian Martinez in the bigger board. This was going to be the one I was going to do it, and that's why I almost took him over Ray Davis. Like, in my heart of hearts, I like Damian Martinez over Ray Davis, but I have almost 35% Damian Martinez in the big board, so that bet's definitely made. So just to even out a little bit, like not taking him in this tournament makes some sense. I do think that it's a very good click. I will, until he's a 5th round pick in the NFL draft. Like, if that happens, I guess I was wrong. But even if he's a 5th round pick to like the Browns, like, it's such a perfect fit. Like, I still believe his talent will win out in the end. Elijah Mitchell, he's been brought up by the Chiefs coaching staff whenever I was saying the Jerick McKinnon stuff. That's why they signed Mitchell. But then they also said he just has to stay healthy. So I don't know if they love it. So that's one reason I have them taking Scatabo. And I've been on Camp Scatabo to Kansas City at pick 63 or 66 for a long time now. I just think it makes sense. He feels like an Andy Reid guy. The way he runs, it feels like Kansas City as an offense feels good whenever their running back runs through somebody. It just, the way that they are built, it feels fine. We'll go ahead and take Tyler Higbee here. I think that's a really solid ping pong week tight end room. My top end of wide receivers are awesome. I have possibility there. And Jack Besh could be a guy New England takes in the 2nd round. I don't think he'll go that high, but no real weaknesses. I think Brugler's latest has that too. What? Martinez to the 5th, or in the 5th to the Browns. I was just making that up on the spot. I haven't seen Brugler's mock. I know Brugler actually had Martinez as running back 16 or something. I do respect. Oh, Scatabo to KC. Okay, yeah. It just makes sense. The 3 landing spots for Scatabo that I think are awesome: the Bears, the Commanders, and the Chiefs. I think, and actually the Chargers. Like, those 3 spots, he would just absolutely fit a role that those teams need. And I think if he he could be a tone setter guy as well. And what would be more Jim Harbaugh than having Najee Harris run right at somebody and then have their pass catching back also run over people? Like, that feels very Jim Harbaugh-ish, right? All right. ADP, Harold Fannin. Harold Fannin. I think I want another wide receiver. Um, yeah, I'll go Trey Tucker here. It's a little early for Trey Tucker, but I want a spike week guy. Max Big Board check out drafting content for a day, but turns out, oh yeah, I I mean, I didn't think very many people would show up at all today, being Easter. You know, I just did it because I had the day off work, and mostly I wanted to do an NFL mock draft because I'm not as sick as Cody or Steve with it, but I enjoy doing stuff like that. I've always done one privately, so why not be an idiot in public instead? Like, sounds great. No team is an Antonio Gibson ass team to me. Sorry, Ant Wall. Like I was very in on Antonio Gibson and got burnt last year, but he could actually be a good pick. Like he's a player that if they don't draft somebody, I will definitely be clicking Gibson in in the post draft contest for sure. 100% will be doing that. And you're right. This would be a team to take somebody like him. And maybe I will. I mean, Drake May. I have three rookies already. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. No, you're right. Because they'll they'll almost definitely take an lineman early. They signed somebody. I can't remember who. Um, and they have a few draft picks. Like I just I don't have it right now, but round three, New England taking a running back would make a ton of sense. Morgan Moses, that's right. Yeah, yeah. It's hard for me to keep every single player in my mind because, like, while all that stuff was going on, honestly, I was just trying to figure out, like, I was making this sheet and stuff like that. Uh, and like I lost. I'm usually pretty locked into that stuff, and I know a little bit. I know quite a bit of it, but man, like some of the starting offensive linemen, I definitely forgot about. All right, we need another wide receiver. Do I take my boy here? Do I take the only Pat Bryant share in the bigger board? Yeah, we're going to do that. We're going to take a the only Pat probably the only Pat Bryant share in the bigger board. Is it smart? Probably not. Yeah, exactly. I so Pat Bryant, I won't bring the screen up again, but it's the all white screen. He had a 60. I wanted to double check. I was pretty sure this was the number. His contested catch rate last year, take a guess. Like, chat, take a guess at what Pat Bryant's contested catch rate was last year. It was number 2 in the class. Number 2 in the class. He's also a locker room guy, and he loves the block. Like whenever he went to talk to, like, his favorite play that he made in college was a block. You know, Antwall, you inspired me. I also think that this is probably pretty low owned in the bigger board. And I feel pretty confident about these running backs, honestly. So tough to roster a New England running back when they're losing games. Yeah, yeah, it is. That will probably change. Um, all I know is that I don't like uh, Ramondre, and this pick was probably going to be bad anyway. Like maybe Justice Hill could have been the click. Yep, you're well. If I win, if I win this because of Antonio Gibson, we'll have to figure something out. Uh no, yeah. So Pat Bryant, 66.7% contested catch rate last year. 66.7. That is ludicrous. Yeah, it'll be like it won't be anything massive, but it'll be we'll get you if he's the clincher. Yeah, I'll remember because I mean if it wins, I'll watch it back. Right, number one contested catch. Thought you would never ask. Savion Williams, 85.7%. 85.7. Almost 20% higher than number two. And number two was 3.5% higher than number four, or yeah, the number three, who was Elijah Badger. Yeah, yeah, Savion, 85% contested catch rate. This was that's the number I pulled from PFF as well. Well, like so people say like the whole gadget thing with Savion, like I've heard some takes. I'm not sure if this is true. This is just somebody's take that they basically made Savion play Wildcat a lot because Savion because their quarterback play was so bad that they just couldn't run a real offense, which makes what Jack Besh and Savion done even better, if that's true. So a lot of the run stuff that they were doing, the Wildcat stuff with him, was because of how bad the quarterback play was, supposedly. I never watched to see how bad the quarterback was, um, but I have heard that. And if that's true, like that's just an extra weapon piece, right? Like that's not that shouldn't negatively affect Savion Williams. So we will go um, completed exposures. I think I just dipped under 30. I don't, yeah, that draft hasn't ended yet. Where is Rashad White is 14.6%. So, oh, I guess I didn't realize Ray Davis was that high. I guess it was a coin flip there. Never mind. But either way, both of those picks are fine to me. In DraftKings, like I love Rashad White as a pick. Yeah, yeah, you weren't um, disbanded back. So, but these are. I have 3 big boards left to do. That's all I have left. I don't know if I'm going to be able to wait to do them on stream on Tuesday. It's 95% filled right now. And I do want to make sure I get them done. I might just do them tonight. I don't know. Um, but DraftKings, for anybody who's interested, if you want to do 75 drafts over the next 3 days or 4 days, you can get a free 14 drafts on DraftKings right now. If you want to do 75 drafts, then you get your 10 free ones, which if you get there, you've got 3 or 4 free ones before that. So if you want to do 80 5 drafts in 3 days or 4 days. DraftKings is the place for you. Like, what kind of promo is that? Why would you release, hey, do 75 drafts in the next 100 hours? Yeah, light work. And man, I'd done a DraftKings draft this morning. There were like 9 people autoing. I was like, I didn't know the promo was out. I'm like, what is going on? Did they roll out a promo? And I looked and I just laughed. I'm like, oh God. Yeah, it's happening. But that was brutal. Every pick timing out. It was awful. But we'll go back. Like, for those who got here late, we'll go back to this. Anything anybody want to yell at me about? How dumb am I? What makes no sense? Because I'm sure there's something here like I'm completely wrong on. Like, just stylistically or something. I do, man, if Jarquez Hunter goes to the Steelers at 123, I'm fully in. Like, Jarquez would perfectly complement Jalen Warren as well. Like, I would love this pick for the Steelers if this happens. That's like one of my favorites. So earlier, I think it was Hartman. Yeah, it was Hartman asked which one I would put all my money. If I had to pick one, I think it's Jaden Higgins to the Patriots at 38. Like, I think that and the Judkins to the Bengals at 49 feel the most likely. Assuming Egbuka, like, if Egbuka's there to the Titans, like, I would think it's a smash, like, definite thing. But I would think Jaden Higgins or Quinshon Judkins would be the two that I feel the best about happening. I think if Damian Martinez is there 76, I don't think the Cowboys would possibly pass on him unless they get Genty. Just by all the stuff Sacrilegious has said, I would like, if I could bet Damian Martinez landing spot, I don't know what the number would be, but if I could bet him to the Cowboys, I would be doing it. So anyway, thanks everybody for showing up. I will be back live Tuesday, 4 p.m. Central. I might have to do DraftKings drafts, but maybe I'll do some Drafters drafts. Drafters hasn't put a promo out yet. It looks like it may overlay. Like, if the people here would rather watch, Drafters is probably better to watch, honestly. Hey, thank you, sir. Yeah, if you haven't yet, go subscribe to Chad Candles. It's usually like, what, 8 a.m. whenever you stream is usually when if I'm up, I always catch him. I'm up 50% of the time. I usually get into his streams about halfway through, and then he usually ends right before Best Ball Breakfast and stuff. So if you need to fill that time slot, it's a great place to do it. I believe he's the only one live at that time too, and it's good content. So anyway, take care, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it. Stay safe.